The Galactic Council had made their biggest mistake 17 years ago, when they exiled the infant princess of Terra to the outer reaches. They thought distance would make humanity forget. They thought time would erase the bloodline. They were catastrophically wrong. Ambassador Zixthar of the Velkreen Dominion stood on the observation deck of the Council's flagship, watching the approaching vessel with mounting dread. It was small, impossibly small for what it represented, a single human corvette, outdated by at least 2 decades, its hull scarred with the marks of 1,000 battles. Yet every warship in the sector had received the same order. Stand down. "She's here," Counselor Mora Quinn whispered, her crystalline form refracting the starlight into fractured rainbows. After all these years, Zixthar's mandibles clicked nervously. One human girl. What damage could she possibly do? The counselor turned, her ancient eyes holding knowledge that made Zixthar's blood run cold. "You don't understand. She's not just any human. She's their princess. And she's been in the outer reaches all this time." The words hung in the air like a death sentence. The outer reaches, where exiles went to die, where the galaxy's most ruthless pirates, mercenaries, and warlords carved kingdoms from the bones of failed colonies. No one survived the outer reaches without becoming something harder, sharper, and infinitely more dangerous. The corvette docked without ceremony. No royal fanfare, no diplomatic protocols. When the airlock opened, the Council's elite guard instinctively reached for their weapons, then thought better of it. She walked into the Council chamber alone. Princess Kira Yamato-Chen was 20 years old, though her eyes looked ancient. She wore no crown, no royal regalia. Instead, she was clad in battered combat armor, a plasma blade at her hip, and the insignia of the Outer Reach Marauders burned into her shoulder guard, a mark that made veteran soldiers pale. "Honored counselors," she said, her voice carrying the casual confidence of someone who had stared death in the face and made it blink first. "I've returned to claim what was stolen from me." Counselor Therese, a towering Xanthian with scales like midnight, rose from his seat. "Princess, your exile was a matter of galactic stability. Humanity had grown too powerful, too aggressive. Your father's expansionist policies threatened the balance." "My father," Kira interrupted, "was assassinated by agents of this council 3 months after you took me from my mother's arms. Don't insult me with talk of balance." The chamber fell silent. It wasn't public knowledge. It had never been public knowledge. "How?" Therese began. "The Outer Reaches teaches you many things, counselor. How to fight. How to survive. How to make people talk when they'd rather die." She smiled, and it was the smile of a predator. "I've spent 17 years learning. Learning who ordered my exile, who killed my father, who helped cover it up." She tapped her wrist console, and holographic files exploded across the chamber. Communication logs, financial transactions, assassination orders. Decades of conspiracy laid bare. "You wanted me gone because humans were too aggressive," Kira continued. "But what you really feared was human unity. Under my father, Terra was days away from unifying the Sol system and the 37 colony worlds under one banner. You couldn't allow a human empire." Zixthar found his voice. "This changes nothing. You're one person, one ship. The Council commands thousands." The chamber's displays flickered and changed. Every screen showed the same thing: fleets. Massive fleets bearing the mark of humanity, holding position just outside the system. But these weren't Terra's official military. These were the colony worlds, the independent settlements, the corporate navies, the mercenary armadas. "You made a mistake," Kira said softly. "You thought exiling me would fracture humanity. Instead, I became a symbol. The lost princess. The stolen heir. Every human settlement in the galaxy knows the story. They raised me in secret, fed me information, trained me, armed me. The marauders of the Outer Reaches? Half of them are human exiles and mercenaries who swore loyalty to my bloodline." Another screen activated. This one showed Terra itself, and the massive fleets in orbit bearing the royal crest. "My mother, the Empress, has waited 17 years for this moment," Kira continued. "She united humanity in secret while you believed you'd broken us. Every colony, every settlement, every corporate fleet, they've all been waiting for me to return and give the word." Mora Quinn's light dimmed. "What word?" "War or peace? Your choice." Kira's eyes swept across the council. "You have 1 hour to decide. Abdicate your authority over human territories. Recognize the Terran Empire as a sovereign power. Return all assets seized from my father's estate. Do this and we'll leave you to govern the rest of the galaxy in peace. And if we refuse? The rest growled. Kira's hand rested on her plasma blade. Then I give the signal and humanity goes to war. Not just Terra, every human colony, every mercenary company, every corporate fleet. We've been preparing for this moment since the day you stole me from my cradle. Do you really want to find out what an entire species can do when united by rage? The silence stretched. Outside the viewport, more human ships continued to arrive, hundreds, then thousands. They didn't move aggressively, didn't power weapons. They simply held position, a silent demonstration of force that made every alien in the chamber understand the truth. Humanity hadn't been weakened by the exile of their princess. They'd been forged into something stronger, united by shared anger and a 17-year-old promise to bring her home. Counselor Mora Quinn was the first to bow, her crystalline form bending in submission. The Council recognizes the Terran Empire. One by one, the others followed. Pride gave way to pragmatism. War with a united humanity would tear the galaxy apart. Kira Yamato-Chen, once an exiled infant now returned as an empress in waiting, watched the Council kneel. She'd survived the outer reaches. She'd united her people. She'd brought the galaxy's most powerful entities to their knees without firing a shot. As she turned to leave, she paused at the doorway. One more thing. The outer reaches? You should probably send ambassadors. I've been named Warlord Regent of the entire sector. Turns out when you exile a human princess there, she doesn't die. She conquers. The door sealed behind her and the galaxy would never be the same.